Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 428. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Going pretty well. How was your holiday? How was your Thanksgiving?
Stressful.
Yeah, so you had texted me and said that you lost power. What happened? Was it like a Transformers thing, or like what?
It's this weird thing in this area that anytime we lose power, it's because someone just slammed into a pole, that had, and it happens quite often. And it's weird because it's one road. If we lose power, like, oh, there was a wreck on such and such road, and then you'll look it up, sure enough. And I don't know how people keep wrecking on this road. First, that's the number one. Number two, I don't understand how every time they wreck, they slam into a transponder pole. Like, it's like a wide open area. It's fields. Like, how do you not just run into the ditch?
So you lost power, and you were like in the middle of cooking Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, it was trying to figure it out. We made it work, but man, it was...
So you have a regular oven and a convection oven?
Yeah, it's like a convection / air fryer / toaster oven.
Ah, so it's like a standalone thing?
Yeah, so I had my oven die first, and I was able to carve up a half-done turkey, get it in the convection oven. It got done in the convection oven, and I also had some of it on the stovetop because I was able to get the burners lit. And then we lost the power, but I was able to have 2 burners because I already lit them. And then I just had to shuffle stuff because I couldn't lose those burners.
Right. Gotta keep them alive.
Fucking ridiculous.
And it came back on, 2 hours later or something like that?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 hours later.
Jeez. Sucks.
It's like the entire township was out of power.
Ugh. This week on the show, we'll be talking about another Thanksgiving situation with The Humans, which is available now on Showtime. Also be going over some we're watching on the watch list and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us. This week, please remember to review us on iTunes if you get a moment. That would be very helpful. The new Say by the 90s is done. Oh, I just have to edit it. I've had a crazy couple of weeks. I was in New York last week. This week I had family in town, so it's just been really, really hectic. That's why the last episode of this show came out a week late. So if you noticed that we were talking about movies that were already out and stuff at the end, that's why I dropped it a week late. I apologize for that, but hopefully I'll be able to get the Say by the 90s out very soon. We talk about Disney movies this month, so check that out. With that, I think we can jump into The Humans. This is written and directed by Stephen Karam. This is based on a play, Tony Award-winning play that was created by him. I have a synopsis here. Set inside a pre-war duplex in downtown Manhattan, Humans follows the course of an evening which the Blake family gathers to celebrate Thanksgiving. As darkness falls outside the crumbling building, mysterious things start to go bump in the night, and the family tensions reach a boiling point. Kevin, we'll start with you. What were your initial impressions of The Humans?
I didn't know anything about this movie outside of looking it up, and I saw that it was Thanksgiving. So I was like, yeah, well, I guess we have to do this. Seems apt. So I was a little bit confused in the beginning, but I mean, about halfway through it, because it seemed to have these, they weren't full-on horror elements, but it was kind of like this mysterious, like the bangs and stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't quite pinpoint what the hell this was supposed to be outside of, it's a family drama where you can tell that cracks are starting to show. And of course, you tie that in with the building. That's your metaphor there.
Yeah.
So I was a little trepidatious in thinking, I was like, this feels very familiar. I feel like I've seen a number of family dramas, where there's just this underlying bit of just like the resentment and things in the past that it seems like they're over, but not quite. Like they're still holding on to it a little bit. And of course, they get towards the end there, and it comes to light, which I thought was very underwhelming. It's just the entire thing was just, it's fine. It's just very underwhelming. It feels very much like a play.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, I will give them credit that some of the visuals, they did try to make this a little bit more cinematic than, other film adaptation of plays I've seen. But it just really didn't work for me. It's fine.
I liked it on several levels. I mostly agree with you in that there's nothing outstanding with this movie. There's nothing extremely notable with this movie, aside from, I think the performances across the board were very good. Specifically, the mom, played by Jane Howdy Show. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. Apologies. She was apparently in the play. She played the mom in the play, but I thought she was tremendous in it. Everybody else I thought did a good job too. You have a really good cast here with like June Squibb, Richard Jenkins, Beanie Feldstein, Amy Schumer, Stephen Yeun. Like, great cast across the board. And I thought that the family dynamic felt very real. Like, I think that they all did a good job of making it feel like a real family, where they had the sort of banter, the back and forth, the jabs at each other, the passive aggressiveness, but also the kind of tenderness that you have with family members. So I thought that all of that was quite good too. I liked a lot of the conversations. I liked the fact that there were multiple times where you couldn't even tell what anybody was saying, where it was just like kind of noise that was happening because everybody was talking amongst themselves at the same time. I liked how that was presented. And I did like the camera work. I liked all of the like super close-ups of like just the awful stuff in this New York apartment. Like the leaks and drips and like paint bubbling up and just all of the nasty stuff that was in this apartment. I liked all that. And I liked the unsettling vibe, like the unsettling tone of this. You wouldn't expect it, but there are a decent number of jump scares in this movie, which I was not quite prepared for, but is also hilarious to watch my dad in a movie like this, where every time there's a jump scare, he just like loses his mind. So I liked that aspect of it as well. As far as the narrative itself, I agree with you in that it was mostly underwhelming, but at the same time, I appreciate the bevy of topics that are explored in this movie, and it feels like a very sort of natural, like, family style drama. These are topics that a lot of families discuss and grapple with, and I thought that this movie handled those topics very well. So overall, I liked it. Didn't love it, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I think I'm more in the camp of it was fine. For me, it's not memorable in any way. Like, I'm not going to remember this thing. And I think the thing that really, really helped it and did a lot of the heavy lifting is the cast, which you said. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you don't have this cast, this thing just does not work for me at all.
No, because, just to reiterate, it is a play, and the majority of the movie takes place in this apartment. The whole movie takes place in the apartment building, and yeah, without the dynamic of this cast, you have nothing. Like, you just have nothing. I mean, the writing is fine, but you really need a good cast to support the script, and because the movie is it's just dialogue. It's just a family having conversations.
Yeah. And I think that that's what at least held my interest throughout its runtime.
Yeah, I could see this not working for a lot of people just on a base like entertainment level, because it is one location, it is mostly conversational, and the conversations are not particularly engrossing. They're mostly just normal conversations that regular families have. And I think that that's sort of by design. It's not meant to be this like crazy, outlandish, wild cinematic experience. It's supposed to be a realistic, sort of down to earth family story. But I think that a lot of people, when they sit down to watch a movie, they're not looking for that. They're looking to be kind of enthralled in a different experience,
Yeah. I think also the I guess the jump scares stuff, which I never really thought of them that way, but I have seen a handful of people describe it as such. I just that none of that made sense to me. I didn't I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand the intent there. And it just didn't work for me in any shape, way, or form.
I took it as
this is bizarre.
Yeah, I kind of took it as like a reflection of the mounting tension between the members of the family and the stress that they were all under. When you look at each of the characters individually, they're all dealing with pretty serious issues, and the jump scares just sort of, to me, accentuated the fact that everybody was just kind of on edge, and
everyone's so tightly wound.
Yeah, like nobody's actually comfortable in this situation for their own reasons too. Like you have, financial reasons, relationship reasons, things like that, and so nobody's like actually happy in this. Like they're all putting on the facade, of course, and they're trying, but they're not. And I think that that's where kind of the quote unquote horror elements come in here, where it makes you uneasy the whole time.
Yeah. And I think I could see this as being like a really captivating play to see.
Yeah.
Especially, given all the conversations that are being had and just, going into different rooms and such, and just like the staging of this, I think would add like a level of exhilaration to it that you don't get.
Yeah,
in the movie
I was thinking about that, and I don't know, like I didn't see the play. I don't know like how the play was structured or anything, but I'm imagining if they had this set built where it's multiple levels and it's like a cross section of the apartment, that would be very enthralling, because you would have multiple characters on different levels doing their own things, having different conversations, and I think that would make for a much more engrossing experience, especially because like at the end of this movie, they do that cross section, and it's awesome. Like I think it's the best looking shot in the whole movie. I think it's really cool how they do that, and I'm just imagining if the play is like that the whole way through, that it would be kind of
and that's the thing that hints towards that for me, is like some sort of evidence of like, oh, okay, given that last shot, I can see that maybe it was staged this way, and I think that would be really interesting to see. But in the sense of it as a cinematic endeavor, it just didn't really work for me in that way.
No, it didn't. I think that it would have been, because usually you just have static camera shots in this. So the camera is like positioned in the back of, the second floor and the back of the first floor. So you don't have a lot of like camera movements or anything like that. It's all pretty much just static. And then you have this like sort of B-roll intercut with it, where you're doing the close-ups of different elements of the apartment. And I thought that it worked on a New York apartment level, like being someone who experienced the joys and frustrations of New York apartment hunting and just accepting what you have with New York apartments. I think that it does a good job of sort of showcasing what you have to deal with and the compromises you have to make in New York when finding an apartment. But also, like, that apartment was massive. I can't, like, even though it was so shitty and dingy and gross, I can't even imagine how much they're paying for that.
Yeah. That was the only horror element that.
Yeah, they were probably paying like $4,000 a month for that apartment.
It's just an absolute nightmare. I can't even imagine like trying to find an apartment in New York City. Like I can't, because I'm never gonna do it. There's no way I'm ever gonna put myself in that situation.
It truly is a nightmare.
I can imagine.
It truly is a nightmare. Because you have like, fake listings too. Like, so you'll have like fake Craigslist listings, and then you have to like deal with brokers and broker fees. So the goal is to always find an apartment that doesn't have any kind of broker fees. So that's like a whole other element that you have to deal with. It's such a nightmare. It's really the worst.
Yeah. No.
Anywho, overall, thought it was fine. Didn't love it. Didn't hate it. No, it's good.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
It's good acting.
Good acting. I did like the cinematography for the most part as well. So
yeah, especially that last scene.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That made me sit up in my seat a little bit. But of course, that's the last, half minute.
And then you sunk back down in.
Yeah, because I was say, all right, got interesting there for a split second.
All right, let's go ahead and give this a score. Kevin, what are you going to give The Humans out of 10?
I give it a 5.
All right, straight down the middle for you. I'm sitting a bit higher on this. I'm at like a 6.5, 7.
I was really hoping that it turned out that they weren't humans.
It's funny because like I don't know if it's just like a title like that. You just kind of naturally think that they're not. But yeah, because I thought the same thing. I was like, I wonder if there's going to be like some kind of crazy.
That would be fucking awesome.
Body snatchers angle or something.
I think even there was like a comment towards the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shit, maybe this is going to work out the stupid way that I was hoping. Unfortunately, probably a good idea on Stephen Carram's part to not go that route.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that he actually. It would be funny if he actually like the original script had them like being aliens or something, and then he decided to change it, scrap that.
Every single person he showed it to, they're just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read. It's just like, okay, let me pick my true dream to the side. I'll just do a standard family drama.
Oh, God, that'd be funny. All right. Again, that's on Showtime now. So if you want to check it out and you have Showtime, have at it. Again, it's The Humans. All right, let's talk about some of what we've been watching. I saw a few notable things.
All right, hit me.
Ghostbusters Afterlife is probably the big one.
Okay.
So it's directed by Jason Reitman, son of Ivan Reitman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like Jason Reitman's movies for the most part. And I liked this movie for the most part as well. Didn't love it, but it was a sort of it was very sentimental. It was very nostalgic. It was funny. It was mostly funny, I would say. I did enjoy it overall more than the 2016 one. I think it was 2016, the last one. I did enjoy it more than that one. I didn't think it was quite as funny, but I just had a really good time just revisiting this franchise. And I think that while I didn't love this, I think that it sets itself up for the possibility of sequels that could be really good. Like the way that it concludes, I'm not going to give anything away, but it sort of leaves the door open for possible sequels. And I mean, it's not a cliffhanger or anything like that, but I think it could be where they go with this could be really, really cool. So that has me excited. The movie itself, I mean, it looks fine. The special effects are fine. I don't have much else to say about it. I found it was entertaining. I think that it was worth going to the theater to see this. I saw this in New York. And yeah, that's Ghostbusters Afterlife. I would say check it out. It's worth a look.
Yeah.
I think you'll like it.
Check it out at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to see it in the theater, but
so I've never seen The Princess Bride.
What?
From 1987. Now, this is one of those movies though that I guess it's so a part of the cultural zeitgeist that I feel like I've seen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I've seen enough clips, I've seen it referenced enough times, enough people have talked about it over the years. But this is a movie both me and my wife have not seen. And we know that it's, from 1987. Like, if you were born around that, growing up around that time, everyone fucking talked about this goddamn movie.
It's a classic.
Right? So we were finally like, okay, everyone's been talking about this for the last, 30-some years. Let's watch it. Let's finally sit down and watch this thing. I don't understand this. I don't get it. Is this a comedy? Because it's not funny in any way, shape, or form. I did not like this movie at all. I thought it was just bad.
Wow. Okay.
To be honest, I don't like this. The only thing that I've learned that was interesting to me, because again, I've seen tons of clips of this movie. I did not know that is Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
I had no idea that that's him all this time. I just thought it was some dude that never really starred in anything else. So that was kind of surprising. And I didn't realize that the actual Princess Bride is Robin Wright. I never knew that either.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just I don't know if it mostly comes down to Carrie Ewells. I don't like him at all. He just, to me, he has no charisma. He has nothing. And that's how I felt with his character. I just did not like him. It's a black hole.
Mm.
And then Billy Crystal's annoying as hell, which that shouldn't be a surprise, really. Wallace Shawn, I guess it's supposed to be funny that he says inconceivable numerous times. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It seems like you're way too cynical about this movie.
Well, it sucked. I'm sorry. It's a shitty movie. I don't like it. It's dumb as hell.
What is the consensus here? What are we looking at on Letterboxd with this movie?
Everyone loves it.
It's got an average of 4.1.
And then even looking through, majority of the reviews that I've seen, the majority, as low as it goes is 3 stars, which I would give this 1.5 stars maybe at most. Oh my god, dude!
Oh my god, haters are gonna come out of the woodwork for this.
I just I feel like you had that. There's I'm missing that nostalgia factor. The rose-tinted glasses.
I really don't think so. Because there's a lot of younger people now that experience this movie and still love it. I don't think it's just I don't think that I'm sure that nostalgia does play into it. However, I think that there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, I think the movie's great, personally. It's not one of my favorites. I'm not losing my shit over it, but I do think that it is a classic, and every time that it is on, it just kind of just hooks me. I think it's a great movie. It's got 98% on Rotten Tomatoes too, so critics are liking it.
Well,
I don't know. I really can't understand how you could not like this movie, but all right. Well,
we both. And the funny thing is, we both hated it. We were both like, "What? Is there a different cut? Did I watch the wrong? Is there a director's cut? Rob Reiner? He got done dirty?
I don't know. That's insane to me, but whatever. It's not like one of those things where I'm upset that you didn't like it. There's some movies that if you were to say I hated it, it was a shitty movie, that I would be offended. Like I would be personally upset that you said that about a movie that I cherish. Princess Bride's not one of those movies. Now, if you said like Stand By Me was a piece of shit, then I would probably just have to end the podcast.
I mean, I haven't seen Stand By Me in a long time, but I remember really liking that movie. So I think that's one that would hold up. I don't think I would watch that and be like, oh, this is actually shit.
All right. So that's
or at least I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
You got to preserve that friendship. Just be like, I'll keep this a secret from Adam.
Yeah, of course. All right. So that's Princess Bride. Kevin hated it. So, just remember, there's two of us on this show. So just please reserve the negativity. All right. I saw Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. I watched this on a plane. It sucked. It's directed by Robert Schwenke. And, of course, this is the guy who did Red and R.I.P.D. and Allegiant and Insurgent. He did Flight Plan, which I hated. So, anyway, he did The Captain, too, which I think is a little bit of a departure from what he normally... his normal thing. He does all these, like, a generic, popcorn movies, and then he does The Captain.
Yeah.
Which I liked a lot, by the way. So, anyway, this movie is super generic. It's pretty much exactly what you would expect. Lots of glossy action that hides mediocre choreography with shaky cam. Lots of CG. It's exactly what you would expect going into it. I will say that some of the action scenes are decent. I'm not a huge fan of Henry Golding as Snake Eyes. I feel like maybe they should have got somebody else to be in that role, because I just don't see him as an action star. I will also say this. So remember when we talked about this movie when it first came out, and we were like, how is this going to work? Snake Eyes doesn't talk. Well, we predicted that at the end we would see like what happens where he doesn't, where he stops talking, like if it's an injury or whatever it is that makes him go silent. That doesn't happen. Like, he doesn't get the helmet, like the iconic Snake Eyes helmet, until the very end of the movie. And even then it's like he's just that they don't do that. But at any rate, there's a couple other G.I. Joe characters in here. You got Storm Shadow, played by Andrew Koji, and he was fine. Samara Weaving plays Scarlet, which I think was good casting, but also she was like completely underutilized and like wasted. Like there was just no reason for her to be in here. Iko Uwais is in here as well. Again, like he gets a couple cool action scenes, but his talents, I believe, are wasted as well. Baroness is in this too, and I'm trying to figure out who. I can't remember who plays her.
Oh, Ursula Corbero.
Yes. And she's fine as well, but the movie overall is just pretty poor. So, as expected.
No one to blame but yourself on that one.
It was like
you're on a plane.
I was on a plane. It was a relatively short flight. I didn't have anything else to watch. And it was available on the like in-flight thing, so I just put it on.
Slapping on old Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Man, how far we've come. Just fly to a destination, watch it Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
Hell yeah.
Incredible. I saw Mind Game from 2004. It's directed by Mizaki Yusa. This is on Criterion Channel. This is an animated movie by the guy that did Night is Short. What is that movie called? Night is Short, Walk On Girl, which I think is like his most popular movie. So I've been wanting to see this guy's work for a while, and they have a good selection of animation on Criterion. So I was able to catch this one, and oh my goodness, it's so good. I love this kind of stuff. You have this guy doing tons of different animation styles throughout the movies. It's about like an hour and 47 minutes long, I think. So a little bit of everything, a lot of creativity, a lot of different stuff going on. The bookends of this movie are just absolutely phenomenal. It's just kind of like this montage, really no dialogue, just all these characters, all these various different characters, just little clips of stuff happening, and you're not really quite sure what's going on, but it's kind of giving you like little elements of the main narrative, like kind of like context and like background information, that type of stuff, so that when you see bits of it later in like the main narrative, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. Like you kind of remember things from that opening montage. And then, of course, they do kind of the same thing at the end, which kind of gives more context to everything that you just saw. And it's a wild ride. Most of the time so the basic premise of this is there's Nishi. He's kind of a loser. He has a crush on this girl ever since like they were kids. Gets wrapped up with the Yakuza. He ends up dying, but he tricks God and goes back, gets another shot, and then decides to be like, I'm just doing whatever I do, taking life by the balls, that type of thing. And it gets them, they get all stuck inside of a whale for a long time. Just living inside of a whale for a decent amount of the runtime. And it's something else. It is, I enjoyed the hell out of this thing.
What was the name?
Love the energy.
What was the name
of
that again?
Mind Game.
Mind Game.
Yeah.
And what year? What year was that?
2004.
Oh, okay.
You will love this.
I'll have to add that to my list. All right, I saw Last Night in Soho. This is the Edgar Wright one. So I did not like this movie.
Oh boy.
I don't.
Does it hurt to say it?
Hmm?
Does it hurt to say it?
It does, because I was pretty excited for it. I like the idea of Edgar Wright doing a horror movie, and it is sort of a horror movie, but at the same time, it's more of like kind of a psychological thriller. I've seen people say that this is basically a remake of Repulsion, which I could definitely see shades of Repulsion in here. Definitely. Like it is actually pretty similar when you think about it. What you have here is a young woman who gets into this fashion school, and she moves to London, and she has problems with the student housing. She doesn't like the people, like her classmates, they're mean and stuff. So she ends up getting this apartment that's being hosted by this older lady, and she discovers that when she goes to bed at night, that she's able to transport herself into the 1960s in London and sort of follow this young woman who is trying to be like a singer, performer, dancer person in London. And at first it's like great, like she's drawing inspiration for her clothing designs from this person who is played by Anya Taylor-Joy. The main character is played by Thomasin McKenzie. But things begin to fracture, and like just it's like one of these things where it's like you don't know if she's crazy or not and what's going on. Matt Smith is in this too. I think one of the reasons that I found this to be very grating is because I hate movies that involve people who are mentally ill and you don't know if what's happening is real or not. Nobody believes them and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm so sick of those types of movies. Never liked them to begin with. Thomasin McKenzie, I do not like her voice. Her voice just drives me insane. I can't deal with it. And I know that sounds like super shallow and stuff, but like I don't know. For whatever reason, her voice really bothers me. And I don't like Matt Smith either. So I feel like this movie just had a lot stacked against it for me. There is some really cool camera work in here. So they do this really cool stuff with like reflections where there's like lots of mirrors and like shattered reflections and disjointed reflections and stuff like that, and lots of like really cool perspective things that they're doing. So all that was really cool. Lots of really cool lighting in this. Very vibrant lighting. The production design and costuming was really top notch as well. And I liked the music. So it wasn't all bad, but overall, I just didn't really enjoy myself. So I can't really recommend Last Night in Soho.
That's all I got outside of 2 rewatches, which is the the traditional Prisoners rewatch on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotta get that Prisoners in. And then I rewatched The Truman Show last night. My wife has never seen that. And Truman Show still holds up. Enjoy it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I caught part of it a couple years ago on TV, and I felt the same. I was like, oh, okay, this does seem to hold up.
It's such a good idea, such a great idea for a movie, and just the execution of it.
Yeah, you know what I've been meaning to rewatch is Pleasantville. I'm really curious if Pleasantville still manages to hold up.
As I remember, is that
it's one with Tobey Maguire. It's like and I think it's Reese Witherspoon, and it's like the black and white where they get sucked into a TV show, like the Leave It to Beaver type, like a 50s TV show.
The problem is now anytime anyone mentions that or I see it, all I can think of is the Kentucker Audley.
Oh yeah. I saw Belfast. This is the Kenneth Branagh one. Not sure if this is out yet or not or what. I don't think it's under embargo or anything because I see a bunch of reviews on Letterboxd for it. So hey, I'm gonna say what I thought about it. It's average. Felt like Roma crossed with Angela's Ashes to me, but not as good as either of those two.
Interesting.
Yeah. Feels very autobiographical. I don't really know the whole backstory behind this, but I believe that it's based on Kenneth Branagh's life. And it's just it takes place in I think 1969 in Belfast, Ireland, and it's just about a kid growing up during the Civil War that was taking place there, and just his relationship with his parents, and like the fact that his dad had to go to London for work, like for 2 weeks at a time, and like the dad, who's played by Jamie Dornan, he's trying to get his family out of Belfast because like he sees the violence increasing and stuff, and like the turmoil and all of that is getting closer and closer to their home, and it's just not a safe place to be raising a family. So he's trying to get his family out of there, but the wife, who is played by Katrina Baff, who she's from that show Outlander, that my wife watches that show. I've never seen, it doesn't look like my thing, but Judi Dench is in this also. She's great, and Kieran Hines is in it as well, and he's really good too. I don't know. I just, it was average to me. Like I just didn't find it to be particularly enthralling or anything. Like it looks fine. It's black and white, but what they do is anytime there is like a film or a play or just something that has like artistic merit in it, it's in color. So like every time the kid goes to the, and obviously that's, you know, a nod to like Kenneth Branagh's love for cinema and stuff. So like every time they go to the movies, the movie itself is in color, but everything else in the movie is black and white, and that's, you know, fine. But yeah, I would say it's average. And then the last one that I'll mention is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. This was an interesting double bill. So we watched Belfast and then followed it up with Venom. And the funny thing is I found myself enjoying Venom more than Belfast.
Oh, yeah.
So this is directed by Andy Serkis. I did not like the first Venom. This one I thought was way better because they just lean into the ridiculousness of it. This one is way goofier than the first one, and they just have fun with it. Like, it seems like all of the actors are just goofing around and having fun, and the dialogue, the script seems to not take itself too seriously at all. At the end of the day, it's still a pretty average superhero movie, but I do kind of like where they're going with this series. We have Woody Harrelson in here as Carnage, which I kind of like him as Carnage. Tom Hardy comes back as Venom, and Michelle Williams comes back as the sort of love interest who literally has no purpose in these movies at all. That was one of my criticisms with the first one, was that she had nothing to do. She has even less to do in this one, pretty much. She just plays a damsel in distress, which is really disappointing. But it's still, there's still some pretty funny things in this, and I don't know. I had a good time with it. It's not a good movie, to be clear, but there is some fun to be had. So that's Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Nice.
Let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. We got Encanto. That's the Disney animated movie. We got House of Gucci. Any interest in either of those?
Nope.
All right. We got Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. This looks really bad. You know, I was like hopeful. I was hopeful that a Resident Evil reboot was gonna revitalize the series. Like, we're gonna start fresh. It's gonna be like a straight up horror movie, but nope. Looks like it's just as bad as the other ones. That's pretty much it for theaters.
Oh boy.
VOD this week. Let's see. On the 28th, we have. I don't see anything on the 28th. On the 30th, we have Blonde Purple. We have The Unkind. We have Wired Shut. It's a thriller about a woman who has like surgery or something and has her jaw wired shut, and then something. I think there's a home invader or something involved.
Oh no.
On the 3rd, wait, is the 3rd Friday? Yeah. On the 3rd, we have Betrayed. We got Silent Night. That's going to be on AMC Plus. We have 'Twas the Night. We got Castle Falls. Death of a Telemarketer. Red Pill. Ooh, that sounds like a great one. We got Red Stone. So we got Red Pill and we got Red Stone. Don't get them mixed up.
How about that?
Yeah. We got Funny Thing About Love. We have The Second. And it looks like that's about it. What about... We got... I feel like there's some Netflix stuff.
Yeah, we got Power of the Dog on December 1st.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm looking forward to that one.
They sent me some stuff. They sent me the book for that, and they sent me a paper flower.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. They did not send me the screener.
No, there's no need. There's no need. I didn't realize that they were doing the old, like, release it in theaters beforehand.
Oh, did
so
they?
I saw everyone talking about it like a couple weeks ago. So I was all excited. I'm like, it's finally available on Netflix. So me and my wife had planned all day, like, we're watching Power of the Dog tonight. Hop on the old Netflix there and just ruin the entire night.
Well, that's a damn shame. Looks like Single All the Way is coming out December 2nd on Netflix, so that's here we go. Got
yeah.
Christmas movie coming out there. All right, let's see what we have on Blu-ray. Got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We have Malignant. I still haven't seen Shang-Chi. I plan on it, but I'm just like I'm so done with generic-looking Marvel stuff.
Understandable.
Malignant, I would recommend seeing. I don't know if it's necessary to buy it on Blu-ray, but it's worth a look. Saint Maud. Got Reds from 1981. To Hell and Back from 1955. Got Shattered Dead from 1994. God Hates You is the tagline.
Whoa.
Death of Nintendo from 2020. I think that's false. I mean, Nintendo seems to be thriving, but fine. Got Cyclone from 1987. Nothing Underneath and Too Beautiful to Die coming out. Kind of double pack. Let's see. Pretty much it. Anything coming out on Criterion this week?
Nope. Nothing.
No Criterions? There you have it.
None.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet, @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, consider reviewing us on iTunes. That would be extremely helpful. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name is Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.